Today's lecture is inspired by a question that Zhong Chen asked Gilbert yesterday. When Gilbert taught the Diamond Sutra, at the end, Zhong asked, I'm paraphrasing Zhong, can we use the Diamond Sutra as the right view and practice using the Paramitas, the 6 Paramitas? So, and Gilbert said, hey, let me just mute a few. One moment. It's interesting because I'm doing this as I'm doing the lecture as well. So, okay. So, so Gilbert said, he said, you're not practicing to be a saint. Practice the Bodhisattva path, and it's okay. It's okay if it seems like a lot. A person with a vow to break is a Bodhisattva. It's okay to just, work on that vow, even if it seems like a lot. And he said, hey, and you've got to do this relying on nothing at all. Are you ready to jump from the 100-foot pole? So, there was so much teaching in that, couple minutes long answer. But this was such a wonderful exchange that I was like, hey, let's use that as today's material for today's lecture. So what we're going to do today is we're going to really look into Paramitas. And we are going to do this using 2 sutras, the Vimalakirti Nirdesa Sutra and Queen Srimala Devi's Lion's Roar Sutra. And interestingly, both of these people are amazing lay practitioners. So, they are living a life. They were living a life just like you and me, where they had worldly responsibilities. And their view was amazing. In that their view was second to none, if you could put it that way. So view, practice, both excellent. So it's coming to us from 2 wonderful lay practitioners. So what better to guide our practice and our view, because you're going to hear about their view of the Paramitas, and and it's it's mind-blowing, the small mind-blowing. All right, okay. So before we delve into this, what are the Paramitas, right? What does this word mean, Paramita, right? So Donald Lopez, he's in a book, he writes this about the paramita, the word paramita. The term paramita is commonly translated as perfection. It has 2 etymologies, 2 word roots. Now, the first derives from the word parama, means highest, most distance, and hence chief, primary, most excellent. So the word can be translated as perfection. Okay, we've the 6 perfections, we've heard this translated as perfection. Okay, and so that's one way of that's one meaning of the word. Another etymology, word root for this word, and he says it's a more creative etymology, derives the word paramita into para and mita, with para means beyond, the further bank, the shore or boundary. And it actually, if you look in the Sanskrit dictionary, it's not just like a shore and a boundary that kind of implies that there's some end to it. No, it's also boundless beyond. Okay. And mita, which means that which has arrived. Okay. It could also be split into para and ita, which means ita means that which goes. So this is a very interesting meaning here. So it's gone beyond. So we've heard it translated, paramitas, as going beyond or gone beyond. But a nuance here in that it could be paramita, which is gone, which is beyond gone, right? Gone beyond. And then paramita, which is gone, is beyond, and it's come or established, come to be. So here is another word, just like the tathagata, which is the tat agata and tat gata, tathagata, right? So it's like a thus come and thus gone. Just like that, this paramita it's got this beautiful etymology of both going beyond and coming, you could say coming from beyond and establishing from beyond. So very rich, very amazing. This meaning itself is, it says a lot. It says everything. That one word says everything, right? So it's going beyond, it's coming back, right? Coming back from beyond, having gone beyond, coming back from beyond. And why coming back from beyond? To take beyond. So just lovely, so much meaning that if with that one word, that's enough. Going beyond, coming back from beyond in order to take beyond, to take us beyond. Yeah. So so paramitas that's the meaning of it. And when we come the paramita meaning the perfection, that's a older kind of a meaning. And some of the Sanskrit treatises have this meaning, and but the gone beyond meaning is in some of in the newer works, the Tibetan translations use that. So do we really know whether the ancestor who wrote this about paramitas, what did they intend? If it was the Buddha himself, which he has actually done, given us discourses on the paramitas, did he intend to go beyond? Maybe, may not be, but if it is useful for us, and it is amazingly useful, then let's use it. Let's use it for our practice. All right. So and when we talk about it, when we take about this word paramita in the meaning of perfection, right? When we think about it as perfection, the question arises: what are we perfecting? Right? What are we perfecting? And this is why Gilbert said, don't practice to be a saint, right? So what are you perfecting? Not yourself, hopefully. Perfecting practice, there's value there. But be really cautious that you're not perfecting this illusory self, that you're not taking a brick and try to polish it into creating a diamond. But even if you were to take this paramita as a perfection, and you're perfecting the self in order to lose the self, if that is a step that seems accessible, why not? Why not start there? We all start somewhere in our practice, right? If that is the only place that seems accessible, maybe you're coming into meditation because you need some calm. Very worldly reason to start meditating. Please start there, but proceed beyond, right? So, and then we've got the the gone beyond. The gone beyond meaning really speaks to Mahayana. It speaks to Shunyata, the not self, Anatman, but also to Shunyata, that there is no self. There's no, this word beyond, it's not even the far shore. It is, there's the boundless shore. It's a boundless boundary. So it truly is it really speaks to the Mahayana aspect. And the come from beyond, it talks to the Bodhisattva path. Yes. So, you know, in this one word, in the etymology of this one word, there is the early Buddhism, as well as the later and the large vehicle, the big boat Buddhism, the Mahayana Buddhism. Okay. And if you look at it from the aspect of the third turning of the wheel, you can think of it as a perfection of something that's already there. A diamond in the rough that is just being worked on in order to reveal the facets, the brilliance that's already there. All right, and now that we've looked at this one word from the perspective of the various paths, let's hear from Queen Srimala Devi on teaching these three paths. So she says, similarly, like the great earth, good sons and daughters who accept the true Dharma build the great earth and carry 4 responsibilities. So like the great earth, bodhisattvas have 4 responsibilities. Who are the 4? 1, living beings who have parted from good friends, either have not heard the Dharma or are without the Dharma, by advising them to cultivate the good deeds of humans and gods, good sons and daughters, prepare them for entering the path. So this is something like, you know, who are you responsible for? You're responsible as bodhisattvas for 1, people who have never heard of the Dharma. They don't have good friends. So help them. Bring them into the path, right? And then 2, for those who want to be disciples, Shravakas, they present the disciple vehicle. So, so the bodhisattva, if they're talking to somebody who's only open to the Shravaka path, they are like, you know what, I'm really stressed out. I just want some relief. Give them the tools to help them get that relief. For those who want to be pratyeka Buddhas, solitary enlightened ones, they present the pratyeka Buddha vehicle. For someone who is like, I want ultimate freedom, and they are like, there's a lot of I there, but that's all they are open to, give them some help. And for those who want to be followers of the great vehicle, they present the Mahayana. These are the good sons and good daughters who accept the true Dharma, build the great earth, and carry the 4 responsibilities. Therefore, Lord, good sons and daughters who accept the true Dharma, build the great earth, and carry the 4 responsibilities. And they become friends without being asked for the sake of all living beings. In their great compassion, they comfort and sympathize with living beings and become the Dharma mother of the world. Okay, so this is like, regardless of who is in front of you, who's coming for help, help them as best as they are receptive to. And we are going to hear more about this. This is like a little precursor. So here I wanted to highlight a couple of things. So Queen Srimala Devi, she says, like the earth, right? So these are the 4 responsibilities of the Bodhisattva. And, the way you carry this responsibility is like the earth. And how does the earth carry weight with ease? No big deal, right? So that's how the practice has to be carried, helping beings according to their receptivity. And the helper is like the earth, like the Dharma mother of the world. All right, so now we are approaching the paramita. So this is just a little we talked about the paramita, the word, the various meanings, the rich meanings, and which itself is a teaching, and Queen Srimala Devi, and how to just because we saw about this word can be taken in a very Shravakayana way, it could be taken in a Mahayana way. Whatever appeals to you, start there. There's more. The path is rich, and just start where you can start. Okay, but don't shortchange yourself. So Gilbert says, don't carry excess baggage. Don't pull the paramitas after you. Okay, so don't carry excess baggage. If you can brave the 100-foot pole, jumping off from the 100-foot pole, that's the place to start. All right, so we approach the paramitas now. Okay, and we talked about practicing the paramitas from the Shravakayana approach, from the Pratyeka Buddhayana approach, and the Bodhisattvayana approach. Okay, so now, so there is a practicing of the paramitas. The paramitas are to be practiced. Yeah, duh, right? But then there's more to it. And I wanna read the couple of paragraphs that Gilbert taught from on the Diamond Sutra, the very, very beginning of the Diamond Sutra. So this is where the sutra starts. Like a lot of sutras start, the pains is seen, and there's something so mesmerizing when you read or hear this beginning of a sutra. So I'm just going to read that to you. So it starts, one day before noon, the Bhagavan put on his patched robe and picked up his bowl and entered the capital of Shravasti for offerings. After begging for food in the city and eating his meal of rice, he returned from his daily round in the afternoon, put his robe and bowl away, washed his feet, and sat down on the appointed seat. After crossing his legs and adjusting his body, he turned his awareness to what was before him. On this occasion, the Venerable Subhuti was also present in the assembly. Rising from his seat, he uncovered one shoulder and touched his right knee to the ground. Pressing his palms together and bowing to the Buddha, he said, "It is rare, Bhagavan, most rare indeed, Sugata, how the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one, blesses fearless bodhisattvas with the best of blessings. And it is rare, Bhagavan, how the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one, entrusts fearless bodhisattvas with the greatest of trusts. Even so, Bhagavan, if a noble son or daughter should set forth on the bodhisattva path, how should they stand? How should they walk? And how should they control their thoughts?" So this wonderful exchange, you have to, if you miss Gilbert's teaching on the Diamond Sutra, you should go back and listen to it. It's on the Facebook Chan Meditation Center page. And the wonderful thing here is that the Buddha does what he does. And in doing what he does, he is just so. He is thus. He's the Tathagata. Not just the thus come and thus gone, but thus being one. In every moment of his being, he's being thus. And Subhuti sees this, sees the thusness that is apparent in every moment of being. And he requests for a teaching. And the teaching is also about how to be, how to walk, how to stand, right? How to be, right? And one other thing here is that the Buddha, he sits down and he turns his awareness to what was before him. The Buddha is said every morning to cast his net of compassion, to see what beings are going to be receptive to the Dharma today. Okay? And he's doing that here, right here. And then the Buddha consents and he starts to teach. So it's very, like I said, you should listen to Gilbert's lecture. He really goes into this. But this is a little vignette that kind of prepares us for what's coming from Queen Srimala. Because with the Paramitas, it's not just about practicing, even for practicing for the benefit of others, or even for the practice, even for practicing, beyond words and phrases, beyond the Paramitas themselves. It's being just so. It's being thus, just like the Buddha was being. And then it is offering and teaching, just like the Buddha is offering and teaching. Okay, so back to the Queen Srimala Devi Sutra. So what, if the Buddha is offering, he's offering, then how do we receive, right? How do we receive such a teaching? So Queen Srimala Devi says, Lord, acceptance of the true Dharma means the true Dharma itself is not different from acceptance of the true Dharma. The true Dharma itself is identical with acceptance of the true Dharma. Okay, this is like a mind twister, tongue twister. So I'm going to read it again. Just listen. Lord, acceptance of the true Dharma means the true Dharma itself is not different from acceptance of the true Dharma. The true Dharma itself is identical with acceptance of the true Dharma. So I can read it again, but I want to hear from you on what does that sound like? What are you hearing when you hear that? Could you comment? I'll read it again, okay? Lord, acceptance of the true Dharma means the true Dharma itself is not different from acceptance of the true Dharma. The true Dharma itself is identical with acceptance of the true Dharma. All right, let's hear from you.
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I feel that it's talking about what we heard in the Diamond Sutra. It's talking about there is no one that is giving, and there is no receiver, and there is nothing that is given. So that's what I heard from the tongue twister that you just read for us.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Sounded.
Sorry, yeah. So Suzanne, you wanted to say something or just type? Okay. When the Dharma is offered, acceptance just is. That's from Suzanne. Anybody else? Harry?
It reminds me of something J. Krishnamurti said, which is unconditional acceptance of the conditioned is the unconditioned.
Mm.
So it's very similar.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I say something?
Oh, sorry, Rick. And yeah, after Rick,
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yachi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give me a second. Let Rick go, and then you could go. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, to me, it sounded like a passage from the Heart Sutra.
Mm-hmm.
Form is none other than emptiness, and emptiness none other than form.
Okay.
Emptiness is precisely form. Form is precisely emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that.
Okay. Yachi.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't change my name.
Okay, I can do that. Sorry, I didn't.
Okay. What I heard is that the receiver, the people's understanding, the sentient beings, they're because of the karma or because of their understanding capability. So that even the same Dharma, they are pressed to attention to every creating beings, but the receiver, the creating beings, what they receive is different. Their understanding is different. Their behavior follow it is different. Then those karma is different. That's what I've been heard.
Okay. Okay. So, so here, Queen Srimala Devi is saying the true Dharma is identical with the acceptance of the true Dharma. So it's like Meili said, it points to the non-divisibility of what is being offered, who is receiving it. So remember what Gilbert talks about how mind is like a sandwich where it's mind contemplating mind and the method is appearing in mind, right? It's kind of like that this true Dharma is identical with the acceptance of the true Dharma. So that method is none other than mind, right? It's none other than mind. What is contemplating is not other than mind. It's mind itself. And where it is appearing is mind itself. Yeah? So the true Dharma is identical with the acceptance of the true Dharma. It can't be anything other than mind. Yeah. So Queen Srimala Devi is saying how to accept it, how to accept the true Dharma. And we are on the receiving end of true Dharma. All right. And Christoph saying true Dharma is beyond words and phrases. And Gilbert's here, faith in mind, no duality beyond emptiness, all rolled into the one, without the one, and with the one. All right. So Queen Srimala Devi is saying now we are going from the Buddha's just being so, right? The being is the teaching. And yet Subhuti is asking for a teaching. He already is, but he's being asked for a teaching. And he accommodates and provides a teaching. And how do we receive such a teaching? By not being apart from the teaching. That's how we receive the teaching. Now Queen Srimala Devi is talking about perfections. So we get into Paramitas now. So, Lord, the perfections are not different from the one who accepts the true Dharma. The one who accepts the true Dharma is identical with the perfections. Okay? So she says, Lord, the perfections are not different from the one who accepts the true Dharma. The one who accepts the true Dharma is identical with the perfections. Okay. So, and with that, you know, I am feeling like, okay, lecture done. What more is needed, right? Do you even need to know what the perfections are? No, it's done. But we carry on. And she goes on to actually talk about each of the dharmas. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to get some goodies from Vimalakirti as well. So it's an opportunity to get some goodies from Vimalakirti as well. So we talked about how the paramitas are practiced. It's practicing the paramitas. It's being the paramitas. And then it is offering, like the Buddha was, you know, he was just being the paramitas, and he was asked to offer, and he offered the paramitas. So 3 different planes, if you will. Now, you know, Queen Srimala Devi, you know, when she's talking about the paramitas, she's like going like deep down, you know, she's actually going into offering, being offering. But Vimalakirti is talking about practicing. And this is really strange because Vimalakirti is the one who always like trumps everybody else. But I'm like, here, Queen Srimala Devi is doing a one-up on Vimalakirti. But, you know, so let's do Vimalakirti and then Queen Srimala Devi. So that way we'll kind of get at it. So our first paramita is the dana paramita. It's generosity. Okay. And so Vimalakirti is doing his thing when it comes to this paramita. And this is, you know, the scenario is Vimalakirti is sick, and the Buddha is asking his students to go check on him. And each student in turn is saying, oh my gosh, that guy, I'm not going to go talk to him. He always makes me feel so bad. In such a good way, but so bad because I just can't measure up to him in the Dharma. So that's what's happening with every student, right? And in this scenario, when there's talk about the paramitas, there is a student. His name is Good Virtue, and the Buddha is saying, "Hey, why don't you go and talk to Vimalakirti and see how he's doing? He's sick, right?" So in Good Virtue addressed the Buddha, and he says, "World-honored one, I dare not accept your instruction to go inquire about his illness. Why? I remember once in the past when I was holding a great charity assembly in my father's house. We made offerings to all the Shramanas, Brahmins, those of heterodox paths, the poor, low-class, orphans, and beggars. It lasted fully 7 days. At the time, Vimalakirti came into the assembly and said to me, 'Elder son, you should not hold a great charity assembly like this. You should have an assembly of the charity of the Dharma.' What use is a charity assembly of material wealth?" So, and then Good Virtue, this student of the Buddha said, "Retired scholar, what is an assembly of the charity of Dharma?" And Vimalakirti answered, "An assembly of the charity of the Dharma is to make offerings to all sentient beings simultaneously, without before and after." I'm going to read it again. An assembly of the charity of the Dharma is to make offerings to all sentient beings simultaneously, without before and after. This is called an assembly of the charity of the Dharma. Now, is this going beyond? So just like that, he broke it apart. He blew it apart. This is the boundless beyond. All right, so now Queen Srimala Devi. So she says, good sons and daughters who accept the true Dharma give even their body and limbs for those who respond to giving. By protecting these living beings' intentions, they teach them. When they are thus taught and caused to abide in the true Dharma, this is called the perfection of giving. So she starts off being very mundane compared to Vimalakirti. Vimalakirti just like blew it up, broke it apart. It's like, what do you think is generosity? 7 days of giving, food and money and clothing to all the people that you can think of, all the categories of people you can think of. He's like, bah, that's nothing. Give of the Dharma. And this poor person, he's like so humble that it's like, okay, sir, please tell me what it means to give up the Dharma. And he says, give to all sentient beings simultaneously, without before and after, right? Boom. Okay. But Queen Srimala Devi, she starts off kind of, normal, generosity. She says, okay, the good sons and daughters who accept the true Dharma, right? They give even their body, give even their body and limbs for those who respond to giving. So this is up there, but it's still mundane, giving of your body and your limbs. But note this, for those who respond to giving, okay? For those who respond to giving. Okay, so it's the receiver. It's about, what they're open to receiving. And is responding to the needs of the being in front of them. And by protecting these living beings' intentions, they teach them. So, what are you doing by being generous? Who are you being generous to? And what are you doing? You're teaching them. Okay? When they are thus taught and caused to abide in the true Dharma, this is called the perfection of giving. So it's not just about giving your body and limb. It's looking and seeing, hey, is this person to whom I'm giving, is that what they're going to be responsive to? And you respond to the people in front of you and you teach them. And when is your job done? When they have been taught and they have been caused to abide in the true Dharma. So this is just, I'm not sure if you're getting it, but this is just like, whoa, it's like the universe folding on itself. It's like, what's going on here? She starts off by saying that one who accepts the true Dharma is identical with the perfections. That accepting the true Dharma is true Dharma itself, right? That's where she starts. And then she says, let's get into the Paramitas. Let's get into Dana, first Paramita. And yeah, it's about giving. It's about giving of even your body and your limbs. Okay? But it's not like, oh, I'm just, willing to give whatever. No, it's about responding to whoever's in front of you. And your job isn't done when you're done with the giving. Did they get it? What did they get? Did they get the true Dharma? So she started off with the mundane, but did they get the true Dharma? What did Vimalakirti say? He's talking about giving the Dharma, and she's talking about the same thing, right? Did they get the true Dharma? But she's not stopping with, hey, just give of the Dharma to all sentient beings beyond time, right? Simultaneously and beyond time at the same time. That was Vimalakirti. But here's Queen Srimala Devi. She's like, oh, give up your body and your limbs. But who are you giving it to? And until when? Until they've gotten the true Dharma. Right? So she did one up Vimalakirti. So oh my gosh. Any comments? And you know, it's kind of like this, that, you know, if the Paramitas, these two amazing teachers who are teaching us through these words, they, you know, they go beyond the beyond. They go beyond the Paramitas with every Paramita. Any comments? Yeah.
It seems the Queen is talking about it's like the three different right view. One of them is you that Gilbert hasn't talked a lot yet, but it was mentioned in Suragama Sutra, that is your mental attitude of this compassion. It's a mental attitude, the giving, the loving and the giving mental attitude is the right attitude that the Queen is trying to express, the right attitude of compassion. Whereas the other, the start with a V, yeah, he is talking about the vastness in terms of beyond time and space. He's talking about this almost like the limitless, the size is so beyond, without touching on the compassion, without touching on, you're really aware of the needs of the sentient being, and you're trying to deliver every single one with the right, sensing the right needs and giving the right teaching compassionately, so that you can teach them, you can introduce them the Dharma, so that it kind of record in a sentient being's sixth or seventh, eighth sense that will carry with them beyond continuously. So it's a two different approach, but both very, very noble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And there's compassion in Vimalakirti as well. It's just, you know, what is first apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah, to us when we read it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Christoph's saying maybe she just explained what Vimalakirti meant. Because, you know, when you truly get what Queen Srimala says, it is mind-blowing, but it's just slowly mind-blowing. It's not like immediate boom. So yeah, when one gives without any merit, when you attachment, the merit is immeasurable. So Shila is the next paramita. Shila means morality. So Vimalakirti here says, one generates the Shila paramita, the perfection of morality, by attracting those who transgress the precepts. Transgress the precepts means who break the precepts. Okay, so you typically this paramita is talked about. Is just the mundane way of talking about it. Is just keeping the precepts. You know, doing the right thing. You know, do not kill, do not steal, do not lie. You know, the precepts. So typically that's how it is explained. And Gilbert says something, not your mental attitude, it is mind in harmony with mind, compassion as self-nature of mind. Response to Robert. That's what. Okay. So Queen, Vimalakirti says, you generate the Shila paramita by attracting those who break the precepts. By attracting those who break the precepts. So what is he talking about here? Why would he say that? Why would he say that you generate the morality precepts by attracting people who break the morality precept, who break the precept? Why would he say that? What is he pointing to? What is he breaking up here? Anyone?
Could it be that he's just that we all break the precepts, or we wouldn't be here? We would be enlightened.
It could be, but I think there's more there.
I think it's the compassion to find people that who need the Dharma.
Yeah.
I think in Buddhist sutra that we're talking about, Buddha always provides something because there's a sentient being, so there is a Buddha Dharma, and because the reason why there is a precept there is because there are minds that's breaking the precepts. Yeah. So it's just in order to provide your product, you have to find the right customers. And that's what I'm seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Buddhas use the vexations of the sentient beings. Right. So, yeah, definitely, Meli. And also, what happens if you're going to practice the precepts as though you were, what did Gilbert say? He said, don't practice to be a saint. What happens if you practice the precepts to be a saint? Do you think you'll attract people who transgress, who do not follow the precepts? Yeah, no. So it's like, hey, don't build the ego, and the compassion that Meli is talking about. That's key here. So, and Queen Srimala Devi, what does she say? She says, good sons and daughters, teach the protection of the 6 senses, the purification of body, speech, and mind, and the cultivation of the 4 correct postures and walking, standing, sitting, and reclining to those who respond to discipline. Okay, so again, she lists the usual things, right? The usual things are, you protect the 6 senses, you the purify body, speech, and mind, you cultivate the right way of walking, standing, sitting, and reclining. That's what Subhuti asked the Buddha to talk about in the Diamond Sutra, if you recall, right? All of that, who do you do this to? You're actually teaching this to people who respond to that, to discipline, to wanting to learn about morality. You're going to teach them that. Okay, so with Queen Srimala Devi, look at this. She's not talking about, oh, you go and practice this. How do I practice morality? By teaching it to people who are open to those teachings, right? And then she the same refrain where she says that when those people, they are taught, and because of that they are now abiding in the true Dharma, then you've perfected it. Then this is the perfection of morality, of Shila. Okay. And next up, Susie says, oh, okay, Christoph said you polish yourself. That was yes, okay. And that was from before. And Susie says there is not one who follows the precepts, nor one who breaks the precepts. Yes. And Shanti, patience. That's the 3rd precept, patience. Vimalakirti says, one generates Shanti Paramita, the perfection of forbearance or patience, by the Dharma of no self. Okay, so Vimalakirti says, one generates Shanti Paramita, the perfection of forbearance or patience, by the Dharma of no self. Okay, no self is, he could have said this anywhere along. Why is he saying it here with patience? Any Anybody wants to share their insights? Vimalakirti saying, yeah.
The sense of self is really tied to time. Like self is all about the continuity of identity over a period. So to practice no self is to realize just infinite patience, no time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else? Ari and Meili. Okay.
I was going to say, Thich Nhat Hanh defines Kshanti, or one of the many definitions, as inclusivity, which is another way of looking at no self. There are no boundaries, no divisions.
Yeah. Meili, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm just instead of those kind of pretty word that I'm just trying to offer what I observe in daily life. And I observe that when the mind starts to feel impatient or feel that is hurt, normally that's an indication that the ego is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the reason why the Buddha was offering, or the Vimalakirti was offering the no self into it, because from what I observed, mostly this kind of phenomenon to present the way it is normally is when the ego is kind of strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, when she prefaces all of this, Queen Srimala, she talks about the bearing these responsibilities of the Bodhisattva like the earth. So like that points to the patience of so if you think of Avalokiteshvara is not saying, okay, my time's up, I've got 100 more people to save right now, I've got to go, come on, hurry up. No, right? So that patience is no self is such an important part of patience.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Is it something that gone beyond like me and you, right or wrong, you against me, I like, I don't like? Is your view gone beyond? You always have a self kind of as a center inside, and everything else is outside, including things and space and people and comment. When you've gone beyond that, there is nothing that will really kind of piss you off.
There's no self of you, there's no self of other either.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And on the text, can one practice no self? That's a question from Gilbert. Can one practice no self? Which one? Which one to practice?
That's all we're doing, right?
No, we don't practice no self. We practice not self.
That's playing with words, yeah. But
no. There's a big difference.
Gilbert's been teaching about not self,
there's a big difference,
as opposed to no self. So that's fair. Who's practicing who? Okay. All right. Okay. So that's Shanti. That's the 3 in, and let's. I'm actually gonna hurry up a little bit because I don't want to. I want you to miss out on the other 3. Virya. Virya is the 4th paramita, and it means energy, effort, perseverance. And Vimalakirti says this: one generates Virya paramita by transcending the characteristics of body and mind. So what holds you back? What holds you back from practice? What holds you back from practicing the paramitas? Transcending the characteristics of body and mind. That's the virya paramita. And Queen Srimala Devi, she says, good sons and daughters do not teach indolence, but the desire to practice supreme perseverance and cultivation of the 4 correct postures to those who respond to perseverance. By protecting these living beings' intentions, they teach them. When they are thus taught and caused to abide in the true Dharma, this is called the perfection of perseverance. And again, Queen Srimala Devi starts with a very textbook definition of virya, the perseverance in practice. And she prefaces it by saying, it's not the practice of it, it's the teaching of it. And the teaching's not done until those that are taught abide in the true Dharma. Okay? And so you see how Queen Vimalakirti is, his teaching is the transcending body and mind. It is a gone beyond teaching. He's teaching from that perspective. And Queen Srimala Devi is teaching from the perspective of being the paramitas and offering the paramitas and offering it until there is nobody to offer it to. There's no one there. It's not a person. It's not a self anymore. Because until you have caused the receiver to abide in the true Dharma, which means there's no receiver anymore. Dhyana, concentration, is the 5th paramita. And Vimalakirti says, one generates dhyana paramita, the perfection of meditation, with the characteristic of bodhi. So bodhi means awakening. Okay? So you generate it by awakening. Okay? There's no like little bit here, a little bit there. Boom, awakening. All right, that's how you practice dhyana. Queen Srimala Devi says, good sons and daughters teach tranquility, constant mindfulness, not conditioned by external objects, and recollection of all actions and speech over long periods of time to those who respond to meditation. So she's again taking the standard definition and sandwiching it, but standard definition, tranquility. This is the shamatha meditation, mindfulness, constant mindfulness, not conditioned by external objects, right? So, constant mindfulness and recollection of all actions and speech. Recollection, I think here, maybe a translation of smriti. Smriti means to remember, but more in the sense of you remember that you're a practitioner. You remember that you're practicing. I think it's like Nyan in Nyanfo. It's a remembrance of the Buddha. It's a remembering the Buddha's name. Buddhanusmriti is the Sanskrit version. So here, Queen Srimala is talking about tranquility, which is shamatha meditation, as well as vipassana or mindfulness meditation, and not just about objects, but actions and speech as well. And she sandwiches this by saying that it's about the practice of dhyana is about teaching meditation to those who respond to meditation. Okay, and teaching until those that are taught are caused to abide in the true Dharma. So until there's nobody to teach. Okay, and the last perfection, the last gone beyond, the last paramita is prajna, or wisdom. And Vimalakirti says, one generates prajna paramita with omniscience. Okay? Omniscience. Okay. So Vimalakirti, I mean, he just uses these 1 or 2 or 3 words to just blow it up. Every definition of a paramita is gone beyond from Vimalakirti. It's amazing. Omniscience, omniscience. Omniscience is to know everything. Okay, but to translate it as to know everything implies a knower and a what is known. None of that is there in the word omniscience. Omniscience. It's omniscience. That's prajna. Queen Srimala Devi says, good sons and daughters, when questioned concerning the meaning of all things, extensively teach all treatises and all arts without trepidation, causing those who respond to wisdom to reach the ultimate in science and art. So good sons and daughters, when questioned concerning the meaning of all things, extensively teach all treatises and all arts without trepidation, causing those who respond to wisdom to reach the ultimate in science and art. So seemingly mundane, but not really. So she's saying when you're questioned, so it's like, ask, the Chan master was asked, what is Chan? And he said, ask me a question. And here Queen Srimala is saying, when you're asked, you teach. What do you teach? You teach the meaning of all things. You teach all the treatises, all the arts. Yeah, and without trepidation. And you do it, you teach to whoever would respond to wisdom. And again, you teach until the people who are taught are caused to abide, or are made to, because of the teaching, they abide in the true Dharma. And that's the perfection of wisdom. So until there's nobody there, that is separate, because they are abiding in the true Dharma. Teach. That's true wisdom. That's what Queen Srimala says. All right, okay, so that's the 6 paramitas. And Queen Srimala Devi kind of caps it all up to say, therefore, O Lord, the perfections are not different from the one who accepts the true Dharma. She laid it out in 6 different ways. The perfections are not different from the one who accepts the true Dharma. The one who accepts the true Dharma is identical with the perfections. Same thing that she said 6 times. And she concludes with that. She started off and she concludes like that. All right. Questions, comments?
Hi, Sentha. I have a question.
Hi, Susie.
At the part when you were talking about giving Dharma, simultaneously know before and after to sentient beings, I was thinking about sending credits. Can we, when send credits, send it to just all sentient beings instead of, you know, naming one by one by one. Because I was thinking if we name one by one, there is still a choice of who's more important, who's not, who's you know, who comes first and who's later. So if it's supposed to be like if we send Dharma to other people, all sentient beings, isn't it supposed to be like we send it just simultaneously to all instead of giving priority?
Yes, you can absolutely do that. And you know, Gilbert, I think in the, was it the beginning of the year, he wrote something about how to send blessings. No, I think it was around Christmas time, maybe. He wrote something about how to send blessings. Susie, I'll find that and I'll ping you on that. So that's just like that's going to answer your question in like a really, really, really profound way. So, but yes, by all means, send merits to all beings.
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Comments, questions? Meili.
Yeah, Sentha, thank you very much. I like the way that you compare the two teachings together with a very important Bodhisattva practices. So appreciate that.
Thank you, Meili.
Yeah, I agree. It was a wonderful talk, Sentha. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sentha.
Thank you, Suzanne. All right, so we can end our lecture part now and have a short meditation after for those who like to stay. For those who are, you know, it's really late already, please feel free to end your attendance today with this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sentha. That was very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sentha.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sentha.
Bye-bye.
Here.
Bye.
Sentha, good night.
Thank you, Sentha.
Thanks.